Chocolate hands and peeing cherubs? Move over, Willy Wonka. Belgium has you beat at the weirdest ways to make delicious chocolate. Unfortunately, Belgium's phenomenal chocolate reputation began with its unsavory colonial past. The labor of enslaved people was what initially allowed Belgium to produce such large quantities of chocolate. The Belgian colonization of the Congo and subsequent proximity to Angola, home to some of the best cocoa beans in the world, gave the nation a leg up in importing chocolate as early as the late 19th century. Given such early access to the ingredient, Belgians got a head start in developing the techniques that produce the high-quality chocolate they're known for. This dark past is something the nation still grapples with today. Belgium now produces more than 270,000 metric tons of chocolate every year and is home to more than 2,000 chocolate shops, including some of the most iconic brands such as Godiva, which is based in the Belgian capital city of Brussels.
Locals buy their chocolates fresh daily, like other people buy pastries.
Luckily for chocolate lovers around the world, Belgium isn't keeping all of those goodies for itself. According to the Daily Mail, Belgium's $3 billion in chocolate exports ranked it as the world's second biggest exporter of chocolate. But of course, quantity is just one important factor behind their world chocolate dominance. Belgium's location at the crossroads of Europe is another. As Belgium's largest city, Brussels has always been a destination for tourists. But as the capital of Belgium and the administrative center of the European Union, business people and politicians pass through this bustling urban area on a daily basis. And the tradition of buying Belgian chocolate as gifts is something both leisure and business travelers have in common, helping to spread Belgium's reputation for fine chocolate across Europe and around the world. Given the longtime presence of chocolate in Belgium, it's no surprise that Belgian chocolatiers have devised so many innovative chocolate-making techniques. Perhaps the most famous example of this is the story of Swiss native Jean Neuhaus. Neuhaus began selling bitter bars of dark chocolate at his pharmacy in Brussels in 1857, but interestingly, Neuhaus's bars weren't being sold as a treat, but rather as a health remedy. Apparently, even back then, people knew about the health benefits of dark chocolate. Eventually, the pharmacist's chocolate became so popular that he focused his attention away from medicines to become Belgium's first true chocolatier. When it comes to the history of Belgian chocolate, 1912 is notable for two reasons. Sadly, it was the year Neuhaus passed away, but it was also the year that his grandson, also named Jean, created the first Belgian praline. Belgian pralines, known as bonbons to the rest of the world, are chocolate shells filled with soft creamy filling and the kind of treats you might see in a heart-shaped box on Valentine's Day. A few years after they were invented, Jean's wife, Louise Augustini, came up with a new idea for how to package them. By placing them in a decorative box tied with a ribbon, she would create a new luxurious appeal to Belgian chocolates. Even today, Belgium's most famous chocolate offering is the praline. Just don't confuse them with the pralines that are popular in the American South. Though they are spelled the same, they are actually quite different, as they are flat discs made of brown sugar, butter, and pecans. From champagne to Parmesan cheese, from Gorgonzola to Parma ham, many European food products are protected by strict laws. And in 2008, Belgian chocolate was added to the list. A new code was developed in 2008 to protect the image and reputation of Belgian chocolate, requiring that any chocolate labeled as Belgian must be refined and molded in Belgium. Another law designed to protect the quality of Belgian chocolate stated it must be made with at least 35% pure cocoa. Surprisingly, however, the rules protecting Belgian chocolate aren't exactly strict. For example, it's not required that the cocoa beans must be roasted in Belgium. Many characteristics and qualities commonly attributed to Belgian chocolate can also be applied to other types of chocolate. This means the real secret to what makes Belgian chocolate special lies in the skills of the artisans, the chocolatiers, chefs, and producers. While chocolate quality and flavor can vary dramatically from one producer to the next, there are a few characteristics that make Belgian chocolate stand out. One of the biggest is a much higher cocoa content. For example, while Swiss chocolate is usually milky, sweet, and lower in cocoa, Belgian chocolate tends to be darker and more bitter.
Very dark, bitter chocolate, that's your favorite.
And though the European Union does permit the use of cocoa butter substitutes in chocolate making, Belgian chocolatiers refuse to do so. Chocolatiers in other parts of the EU can substitute up to 5% of the cocoa butter in their chocolate with vegetable fats like palm oil. However, Belgian chocolatiers only use 100% cocoa butter, which results in a smoother finish. Another element of Belgian chocolate making that contributes to its phenomenally smooth texture is a technique known as conching. Conching is a process by which the chocolate is heated while it's being mixed, and it can take up to 78 hours. Conching is important because it removes any undesirable flavors through evaporation. And while other countries besides Belgium also use conching, there are certain techniques unique to Belgium, like balancing liquid conching and dry conching. This process helps develop the flavor Belgian chocolate is known for. In an interview with the American Oil Chemists Society, Mark Adriaansens from Barry Callebaut, the largest chocolate factory in the world, said, "The balance between dry and liquid conching develops the particular caramelized flavor of a good Belgian chocolate." Given Belgian chocolate's international renown, it's really no surprise that Belgian chocolatiers are highly competitive with each other and on a global scale. For example, in 2021, Togo Mautsuda took top prize as Belgian Chocolate Master, where he faced off with 2 other Belgian chocolatiers in 5 different competitions. Some of Mautsuda's creative creations included a chocolate bonbon combining kaffir lime, orange, and speculoos, and a chocolate sculpture depicting a whale emerging from the depths of the sea. The win earned Mautsuda the right to represent Belgium in the World Chocolate Masters, which will take place in October of 2022. This will give Mautsuda the opportunity to compete in his chosen trade against expert chocolatiers from around the world. The most recent Belgian chocolate master, Togo Mautsuda, hails from Japan, but he's certainly not the only foreigner to bring a uniquely creative flair to the world of Belgian chocolate. Belgium's chocolate scene has been evolving thanks to the arrival of international chocolatiers, most notably Ryan Stevenson, a 2-time Belgian chocolate master from Australia, and Yasushi Sasaki, a Japanese pastry chef and chocolatier in Brussels. So it is a bit odd that even though he is originally from Japan himself, Sasaki told BBC that international arrivals could pose a threat to the dominance of traditional Belgian chocolatiers. However, others disagree, believing that the arrival of so many international chocolatiers on Belgium's chocolate scene was actually a sign that Belgium's chocolate dominance and reputation were being preserved. Have you ever heard of a Grand Cru cake? This Belgian dessert can best be described in a single word: decadent. Or maybe just yum. Literally chocolate on top of chocolate, the Grand Cru is a mouth-watering, rich chocolate ganache cake coated in a layer of super dark chocolate, and the result is as gorgeous as it is delicious. Pierre Marcolini is a French chocolatier who works in Brussels, and his shop is where to go if you want to try the Grand Cru cake. And hey, if you're not in Brussels, they can ship it straight to you for just 14 euros if you happen to live in Belgium, France, or Luxembourg. But what about all the chocolate fans who don't live in these places but still really want to try a slice? Sorry to say, you'll have to add in the cost of an airline ticket to that 14 euros. Belgian chocolate comes in many shapes, from smiling faces to, well, these things, chocolate versions of the famous Mannequin Peace statue.
Now I've seen everything.
But on a more serious note, one of the most controversial chocolate shapes are the items known as Antwerp hands. The Brussels Times claims that these chocolate hands were first conceived in the 1930s by a chocolatier as a tribute to the popular myth of a brave Roman soldier, Silvius Brabo, who severed the hand of a brutal giant. In Antwerp, a popular tourist destination is the Brabo Fountain, which shows the soldier throwing the giant's hand. But the story isn't as straightforward as it might sound, because this particular shape also refers to a dark part of Belgian history and culture, its colonial state in the Congo. The Belgian Congo was a brutal slave state where the horrific practice of severing hands was a routine punishment, so it's no surprise that chocolate hands would cause an outcry. According to an article in the Brussels Times, the mayor of Antwerp asserts that the chocolate hands have nothing to do with colonial history. Yet American sociologist Jenny Folsom of the University of Massachusetts Amherst claims the following: the severed hand is also a sinister reminder of the brutality enacted upon Central Africans during Belgian colonial rule. This controversy certainly leaves behind a bitter taste. In recent years, there has been a push for more environmentally friendly products, and chocolate is no exception. In a 2020 report from the Belgian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a major focus for the country's cocoa industry is sustainability. The challenges are twofold: making chocolate production environmentally sustainable while ensuring that cocoa farmers in export countries receive fair wages. Sustainability remains important to Belgians, as the market share for fair trade cocoa more than doubled in the last 2 years, from about 7% to 15%. Major chocolate labels like Guillain are also jumping into the ring when it comes to sustainability. Known for its seashell-shaped chocolates, Guillain now uses 100% fair trade cocoa in all of their products, as does Neuhaus chocolates. Though there are existing laws in place to assure a high quality and concrete definition of what makes Belgian chocolate Belgian, many knockoffs of this beloved chocolate still persist. And while Belgian chocolate means first and foremost being produced in, yes, Belgium, there's still what you might call wiggle room within the definition. Basically, the thing that separates real Belgian chocolate from the rest is the amount of cocoa and cocoa butter used. High-quality and artisanal chocolate uses only cocoa butter and cocoa, which means distinguishing fake from real is no harder than looking at the label. But Together magazine credits the rise of the tourist centers as key players in what they describe as the chocolate wars.
Seems like an overreaction.
Okay, maybe it's more of a chocolate skirmish. But they take their chocolate very seriously over there. No matter what you call it, the main issue is that centrally located shops solicit to tourists and offer chocolate tastings in order to make their sale, putting more reputable chocolate makers at financial risk. But it's not just in the tourist centers where chocolatiers face challenges of authenticity. Vague labels like Belgian Royal Flavor and Belgian Recipe applied to foreign chocolate allude to all the thrills of artisanal chocolate with none of the frills that define it. Each year in Belgium, chocolate is celebrated in all of its fascinating forms at a chocolate festival called Salon du Chocolat. According to Taste Atlas, the 3-day event is a perfect pit stop for chocolate enthusiasts. And while Belgium may reign supreme when it comes to chocolate, the Salon du Chocolat features and celebrates chocolates from all across Europe. Of course, the best part of the festival is having the opportunity to taste chocolates and to see how they're made. Something called the Salon affords a rare opportunity to participate in chocolate making workshops, learning tricks of the trade and recipes from some of Europe's finest chocolatiers. One of the highlights of the event is a chocolate-themed fashion show, featuring Belgian and international designers teaming up with chocolate makers and taking their sweet creations to the runway. Be it bonbon, bar, cake, or pastry, no matter what form it comes in, one thing's for certain: all chocolate is amazingly delicious. But Belgian chocolate is a cut above the rest.